her bio, and I've known Destiny for years, probably, oh crap, maybe 15 plus, yeah. And she's been wanting to talk to us for a couple of months, and I'm just thrilled to have her work us over. So, Destiny, take it away.
Thank you. How many of you have ever felt afraid?
Yesterday.
Thank you. How many of you have ever let fear stop you in your life? Thank you. So I'm Destiny Shackleton, and this is an intro to face fear and be unstoppable. Overcoming that little voice inside your head. I want to acknowledge everybody for being here because I think it's really awesome that you guys meet every month and you come out here and contribute to each other, and it's just great for your personal development, and I think it's awesome, and I want to thank you for letting me come and share this with you. So thank you. So tonight what we're going to learn together are three things. One is about disappointment. The second is fear. And the third is about being present. So, is it okay if I take a minute to tell you a little bit about myself?
Yeah, sure. Well, that's disappointing.
So, I was 23 once, and at that time in my life, I was a very sad person. I was depressed. People didn't know this about me, because I didn't show it, but it was really on the inside. I was very depressed, I was sad, I was angry, I was resentful, I was very victimized by my situation. And, there was a song, it was, "Nobody Likes You When You're 23, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it was like my anthem. So I went to a course in Toronto, and it was called the Communication Access to Power course. It was all about learning to communicate better with different people and improve the relationships in your life. But one of the things that we learned there was about our sentence. And this was a sentence that we created about ourselves, maybe when we were 4 or 5 or 6. And it was because maybe you were in school and you raised your hand and the teacher said, okay, and you answered a question, you were wrong. And so that teacher said something that made you feel stupid, or maybe the class laughed at you. And so you create the sentence, I'm not smart, I'm dumb. Or another example would be, your mother gave you money to go to the store, and you came back empty-handed because somehow you lost the money on the way to the store. So you create the sentence, I can't handle money and I can't be trusted. So the sentences are basically, I'm not this, I'm that. And it took me a long time. I couldn't figure out what my sentence was because all the sentences sounded kind of, oh yeah, that could work or that could fit, but none of them really were the sentence for me. And then on the third day, it just hit me like a ton of bricks what my sentence was. And it was really demoralizing and really upsetting because, I used to I could be a victim before that. I could kind of be like, well, my life is this way and it's because of this and it's not my fault. And so I didn't have a huge amount of friends, and I didn't have any boyfriends, and it wasn't popular. And I just sort of believed that was because people were shallow, and it was because I was in a wheelchair, or I wasn't pretty enough, or whatever. Well, after I realized what my sentence was, I had to totally take responsibility for all of that, and that was really upsetting. Do you want to know what my sentence was?
Yeah.
It was, I'm not valuable, I'm a burden. And when I would say that sentence or hear it or anything, it would make me cry. It was very upsetting because I really, really believed it 100%. And I didn't, and everybody else kind of could overcome their sentence at this seminar, but I couldn't because I really believed it. It was 100% true for me that was me, that was my situation. And it didn't matter what presentations I went to or what courses I went to, I couldn't get rid of it because I so believed it very deeply. And so for the last 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, I've been working on getting past that belief. And so learning the how-to is so important because awareness of the problem is just awareness, and it really actually makes it quite difficult to live with the problem because you know it's there, You can't do anything about it. And knowing how to do stuff about it is so important, and that's why I come here, so I can share how-tos with people to change their situation, because knowing about the problem is not always going to help you fix it. It's definitely the first step, though, and it's very important. So, we were just talking, she just mentioned energy, so you know high energy is really, really good. So I would like everybody to participate, because that makes everything a lot more fun, and people learn more retention. So all who agree to participate, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Turn to the person next to you and say, we're going to have fun.
We're going to have fun.
Thank you. So how many of you have ever been disappointed? Everybody. That's the way it is. Why do we get disappointed?
Because things don't go the way we expect.
Expect. Thank you, yes. Expectation, that's the first thing. We all have expectations. And expectations in and of themselves are not bad, because if you just said, well, I'm never going to expect anything, then you wouldn't expect anything good or bad, the good or bad. And so expectations have energy, same with everything else. So you want to expect things like health and wealth and abundance. But when you have expectations that are very specific, like I need this party to start at exactly 7 o'clock and everybody better show up on time, and then it's got to end at exactly 10 o'clock, and if they don't leave on time, then you're disappointed. Well, those kind of expectations are the ones that are not so good. So it's really good to be aware of our expectations and not make them too specific. The law of detachment is so important. It's really good to have expectations and to want things, but then to kind of just let it go and then trust that the universe will provide, and just be detached from the outcome. It's freeing, actually. It's very freeing. And accepting what is, accepting yourself the way you are, the good, the bad, the ugly, because that's the first step to changing yourself. You have to accept what is. You can't really change what is if you're resisting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. So again, how many of you have ever experienced fear? Okay. Thank you. So what is fear?
False evidence appearing real.
Okay, good. That is the acronym for fear, and yes, that's. Any other thoughts of what fear is?
Not knowing.
You should know this. So fear is the anticipation of pain.
Falling off the horse.
Yeah, I do.
That's one big one.
Yeah.
So say that with me, please. Anticipation of pain. Thank you. Good. So anticipation, is that from the past or the present or the future?
Future.
Future. Future. Good, thank you. Yes. So stuff that's happening, that might happen in the future, is that happening now?
No.
Is it real?
No.
No. Thank you. It's not real. So take 30 seconds and tell the person next to you what your biggest fear is.